Hello everyone, my name is Maz and I'm supposed to be the programmer one, but I'm Scrum Master because our original Scrum Master basically had jury duty, so can't do anything about that.
Our project is called Secure Say. Secure Say is a messaging client that users will interact with messages and supports encryption and decryption for all the users' messages. So the conceptual model, the client, so we're going to have a client with a GUI. The GUI will have multiple features on it, such as time slot. The time slot, which will be a time next to the message where the user sends or receives a message. Message input, that's where the user will type their message into the text box.
Don't.
Message history, that's where the chat log of the previous messages will be. And one of the users, or the users can send one or more messages that will be encrypted and by the client, and that will be sent to the server, and that server will send the encrypted message to the recipient's client, and it'll be decrypted there. So the point of this is to take this and put it into code. Tech platform. So we're still researching the tech platform, and we're still deciding whether or not to use a third-party server or to implement our own server. It depends on which programming language we're going to use. So we're leaning on towards Java or Python. Big project challenges. So one of the big project challenges that comes to mind is time. So you may not have enough time to implement all our desired features to the project. Unfamiliarity, so if we are unfamiliar with the technologies, we may need to take the time to learn and the technology and see how those works before we implement it, and resources. So some of our group members might be unavailable, so they have like last minute jury duty. So we need to adapt to those kind of situations.
Also, the adaptability also comes on with that as well in the last slides, because when something happens, you have to adapt and go to a new environment, give a real different task, what they're going to do. So based on the stories, originally we decided that all 5 of us were going to decide we're going to pick out a certain component, and based on a component, we're going to write a few things and describe a few things, and the Scrum Master originally took those points and he broke it down into 2 or 3 maybe general points overall, and then based on that, we decided what to do. And we can add more, we have 5 so far, so go ahead. Alright, the main important thing in this situation is the web server. What web server we're going to use, how are we going to implement it, what programming language we're going to use for that. So the thing about the web server is basically for our specific program project, encryption, decryption of a client server. If you think about some of them, like AWS is an option, but no, we're not going to use that because AWS sucks. It's just, the thing about it is, I've used AWS before and it's a headache. It's a big headache because you have to multiple times change instances and move on from it, and then you have to change it again, then go on to another part and then change it again, and it's a big headache, and I did that in my class last semester. So we're not going to use AWS. And the possibility we decided was Google Firebase, which if you use Python will be better to implement using Python, it'll be more efficient. And if you use Java, then might as well use SQLite. Based on that. And the language is an important thing as well, because for this program, what language are we going to use? Are we going to use something like Fortran, Alcohol, COBOL, or C, or C++, or Java, or Python? Because nowadays, in a software development firm, it's more about productivity and less about performance, unlike what it was back when those languages came out. So if you use something like C for software development, you have no life. And good luck with that, because it's 2018, so there are much more better languages than that for now.
So why did you choose a web server platform?
Web server platform?
Why didn't you choose something like just a sockets platform?
The thing is, like, depending on what kind of language you're going to use, because we haven't finalized yet if you're using Java or Python. So if you use Python, we're going to have to find a web server that we can implement and make it more efficient with Python. If you use Java, vice versa, you can have to do that with Java, find a web server you can use for that and implement it
So
with
it depends
efficiency.
on,
Yeah. So it depends on that.
so really it's more suitable for the language that you're choosing, not to manage the strings.
Yeah, we decided based on the language we're going to use, so how we're going to implement it.
Okay.
So it'll be easy that if we know what language you're going to use or what web server, we can relate to it based on that. Right, next slide. Okay, research for, we have to do research and client-server interaction. So when you think about messaging, you have a client, you have server, and you have another client, right? So based on this is simple computer networks. How it works is you send a message, breaks down the message, broken down into packets, and then you have transferred it through the link layer to the other user. So, and then if you decide to use something like TCP, which you probably won't, a simple explanation would be like, say for instance, if we have SMTP protocol on TCP. So you send a message from one, say if you have Bob and Alice. So Bob sends a message to his mail server, which basically encrypts the message, and sends it to the mail server of Alice, which basically decrypts it, and Alice sees the message, hello world. So that's basically how it works, client-server communication in the simplest format. And if you decide to do something like request a web page or something, because that's also considered communication. So if you go something like, if you decide to do like if you use an HTTPS protocol, and you do something like google.com, then what's going to happen is basically you're going to go through secure, or you're going to go through a different port number compared to like HTTP. So it's going to be encrypted port, which is 243, I believe, for SMTP, and it's going to basically go to the DNS, request the web page, and you're going to see it, kaboom, google.com, something like that. Alright, technology proficiency. So most of us know in the big software development firms, when you use a language, a specific language, you have to make sure that that language nowadays can produce the codes amount of, there's like 500, 600, 5 million, or 500,000, whatever line of codes you have, you're able to produce it. And time is always a factor. So proficiency meaning like you cannot have, with whatever technology you're going to use, whether it's Java or Python or anything else, we're going to have to figure out that you can never have like good performance and good productivity. You're either going to have good productivity and poor performance, or really good performance and poor productivity. But in our situation, we have to use productivity in this case because we're building the software using Agile. And so this second part, I really don't know because Will was the one who came up with this story. So honestly, I don't know what this is. I wish he was here to explain it better. Okay. Research, encryption, decryption. So this is a phenomenon of encryption, decryption that we're doing for our software, and in order for this to work, we have to understand how we're going to do this. How is encryption working? How do you take a method that can encrypt a code or a message, and how can you decrypt it when it's received by another person, right? So we have to fully understand how that works, and to our knowledge, what we decided was basically, this is what we know so far of how it's going to work. So you basically have, I explained it before, but this is a better picture. You can see a lot better. So Bob sending a message to Alice.
1 minute.
1 minute, okay. So the message basically becomes encrypted by the mail server, and it's transported, and Alice mail server decrypts the message, and Alice receives the message, hello world. Next. And then the last but not least, we have to do the GUI planning. And we're going to have to use a specific library on that because we don't want to build anything from scratch in anything we do nowadays, because you just take stuff from Google's, basically Google's Stack Overflow, you just copy and paste it and change the words, change the syntax and figure out what to do and make it compile. That's pretty much everyone nowadays, not us. Not just, I'm pretty sure all of you guys are going to do that. So, anyways, that's pretty much it for our.
Okay.
Yeah.